Kia ora te whānau and welcome back to yet another tutorial. In today's session, we're going to be going through how to apply for a grant using the Te Kopa Ora Ngāi Tahu grants portal. Firstly, you're going to need to log in. If you're not sure how to do this, then make sure you watch our last video. I'll leave the link in the description if you haven't already figured out how to log in. But once you've logged in, you should come to the home page and it should look like this, and it should have your name in the top right here. Now there's two areas we're going to focus on in this session. The first one is funding. So this is where you go to apply for grants and funds and scholarships. And the other one is My Applications, which is where you can navigate around all of the applications you're applying for. And we'll dive into that in a minute. But let's go into the funding area. If we want to start an application, this is where we go. So let's click in. Once you've clicked in, everything that appears here, everything that you can see, these are the grants and funds and scholarships that are currently open and available for you to apply for. So let's run through one of them as a test run. Let's go to the Peppy Pack. I'm going to click select here. What you need to do, scroll down to the bottom right here. There's this button here and it says new, and that's what you need to click on here. Okay, we're going to click on new. Once you've clicked on new, it has a little blurb about the application. You can read through that, but what we're going to do is we're going to go back down to the bottom right here and click Begin Application. This thing will pop up here saying that it's submitting the data. It's getting us ready to apply. Fantastic. Now you are in. Here is the form. Every form is slightly different depending on what you're applying for, but typically you just read through it and follow through. On the first page you have information of what you need to bring in order to apply. You can click your way through the application. So you ask questions like, what pack am I applying for? I can click on here, and if it was the partial pack, I could click on that. Yes, the form is pretty straightforward. So make your way through the form, making sure you fill in all of the boxes. That pops up with this red thing, and it says this field is mandatory. It means it needs to be filled in. If you need to upload any file like this, all you got to do is find the icon on the far right. This icon here, after you click it, it will pop open a box where you can upload whatever it is that they're asking for. In this case, it's a copy of a birth certificate. So if I had my birth certificate, I will be clicking in here and I would be uploading that. On the final page for most of the grants you click on is declaration, where you need to fill out the last bit of the form in order to complete your application. So what happens if you don't have all the information or all of the attachments that you need to submit an application? Well, that's okay too, because you're able to save the draft. So at the bottom right here, you can save your application as is. So currently it's submitting it, so it's saving it, so I can always come back. Where do I find all of my drafted applications? Well, it's under the My Applications button here on the header. So if you click on that, you'll see that there is draft, submitted, completed, historic, and payments. The one that we're looking for is clearly draft because it's drafted. Let's click on that. So now you can see that the one that I've started the application here, Peppy Pack, is there, and it's ready for me to open the record. You could use either of these options, but typically you can click on any of these and you can pick up where you left off. One last thing to note is that if you start an application, you can't actually remove it from your drafts section. All drafts that haven't been submitted will auto clear after 12 months. Make sure to save it as a draft every time you make a new edit, and once it's fully complete and the application is complete, all you got to do is click this button here, submit application, and it will submit it to us and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And if you want to go back through and have a look yourself, all you got to do is click back up here in the My Applications and click on the submitted forms. It should pop in here. And once it has been accepted, on our end, it should show up under completed, which should show up in here. Also in here, it will tell us the outcome of the application under the decision column here. Any historic applications will be under the historic button, and also any payments that has got to do with the grants and the scholarships, etc., it would all come down here in these columns here. So just to refresh, all you got to do if you want to apply for a grant or a scholarship or a fund, all you got to do is click on funding to find everything that you're eligible for. And if you want to make any edits or see any of your completed forms or submitted forms, any of your forms that you've already started, then you want to go into here. It's as simple as that. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment underneath this video, or feel free to give us a bell on grants@ngaitahu.iwi.nz, and I'll leave a link in the description below. Kia ora.